Hello and welcome to You Don't Know What You Don't Know, Episode 2. In this episode, I'm going to teach you about how to speed up an aging USB drive, how to add large attachments to any message you send in Gmail, how to split and merge PDFs for free and with ease, how to find sites similar to ones you already use, how to adjust your privacy settings on lots of sites all from one place. I'm going to share a great tip for improving the secure nature of your online accounts, how to disable some pretty vicious user tracking in iOS 6, how to simplify and share URLs, multiple URLs into one URL, and also share with you an awesome gift idea for someone who is super happy about tablets in their life. So first up, if you have a USB like me, I use a few of them still, sometimes they slow down. So here's a USB that I use all the time, and it tends to get full up with files, and sometimes it gets really slow. When I attach it, it takes a long time for the files to load. Sometimes it takes a long time for the files to copy off. One thing you can do, and I recommend you do at least once every 6 months, is format your USB drive. When you format it, you delete everything, but it starts over from scratch from new. So before you do this, please back up anything you don't want to lose, which you should be doing already, right? You go to the USB drive over on the left here in Windows, right-click, and click on Format. I recommend FAT for a device that USB drive that you're using on multiple devices, Mac or Windows. If you're moving it around, FAT is good. It works on everything. And then all you do, I like hitting Quick Format, and then you'd hit Start. So if I did that, it would quickly format this USB drive. And I found that after formatting, USB drives are much faster. Second up is this great tip about how to add large attachments to Gmail using your Google Drive account, which is also your Google Docs account. Essentially what's going on is you will be able to add any file that's in your Google Drive to any email you send using Gmail. And what this looks like is, after hitting Compose, if you see the regular message compose window, you should see this new try out this new experience right here up in the top. If you click on try out the new compose experience, a new window loads, and now it'll give you a little demo. You can say got it. Now you can type out a message. So let's say I'll send it to myself. Give it a subject. And then down on the bottom here, you'll notice you can now insert a file using Drive. If you click on this, it loads up all the files that I can select files from my computer, or I can go to my drive right here. What's nice about this is if the person you're sending the file to doesn't have permission to see it, it'll ask you and prompt you for it. And also, the files you can store in Google Drive can be up to 10 gigabytes in size. So again, try out the new experience after you hit Compose. Down here, you click on Insert using Google Drive, and you can add any file that's in your Google Drive. Works really well. Second up is this free program called PDFSam, PDF Split and Merge. It's open source and free, and it's for Windows. You might actually have other versions here. And when you run it, it allows you to, OS X, that's great. So you can use it on a Mac. When you run it, it allows you to easily take PDFs and put them together into one or split them apart. And you can do that with a few clicks in some other programs and some of the ones that are built in to Windows, or if you have a more advanced version of Adobe Reader, you can do that. But this I found is quite simple and nice and works very well. So PDFSam. It's a great website here called similarsitesearch.com, and sometimes you want to find another site that does something similar. You might like one video sharing site, for example, but they might have some gripes about it, so you might want to find another one. So let's say I wanted to find an alternative to YouTube for one of many reasons, and then it'll give you a whole list of sites that do very similar things to YouTube. Works really, really well. I highly recommend giving it a try. Lifehacker is this great article about adjustyourprivacy.com. It's kind of like Mint, if you are familiar with that for financial services. You log into all your different social networks, all these different sites through adjustyourprivacy.com, and it allows you to easily tweak privacy settings all in one place. It's a great way to get a handle on what exactly you're sharing with the rest of the world. One great tip, and this is huge, is use a unique, secure email address solely for password recovery. This is super important, because if someone gets access to the email address you use to reset all your passwords for various services, it means that all of those services are now vulnerable. This is what happened to somebody, made big national news when he lost this password and someone got into their Apple account and deleted everything. But I'll post the link to this article, but it's really simple. Create an email address that you only use for password recovery and nothing else. It's a super helpful thing to do. And as always, use a unique password for the service. In iOS 6, they brought back some pretty sophisticated user tracking, which allows Apple to serve you customized ads, and it's on by default, which most people don't know. So any device running iOS 6 has this on by default, and I'll post a link to this article. But essentially, in settings, general, about, you can go into advertising and you can limit ad tracking. You want to turn it ensure the set is set to on if you want to opt out of tracking. So if you want, it's kind of a reverse here, but if you want to get out of this, turn it on. So make sure to turn that on. I recommend it, unless you do want the targeted ads, which in that case, keep it on. FUR.ly is kind of like Bitly, but instead what you can do is enter multiple URLs, and it generates one URL that someone can go to, and it'll load each of those pages. So let's watch how this is done. Say I wanted to go to YouTube. Then I also wanted to go to stjacademy.org. Let's enter. So I've now entered 5 addresses. You can enter a bunch and more if you want. So now you have to do a catchba, unfortunately, but you got to do. And so you have to do a catchba, but you don't have to register for anything. So if I hit go on this, it'll think for a minute, and then it'll spit back to me. So now I was successful, and it gave me this address. What's really cool about this address, this Furley address, is that if I go to this address, it's going to load the pages, but with a neat banner across the top, which allows me to bounce between each site. It's going to load here in a second. So now you'll notice that across the top of the site here, there's a drop-down menu for bouncing me to each of these addresses. So if you're going to use a bunch of addresses in one class, you could share one Furley address, and then when the kids go to this address on their browser, they will be able to go easily between each site without typing in each. Last thing I wanted to share with you is this wonderful gift idea for anybody that's a tablet fanatic in your family. It's the most amazing keyboard I've seen for the iPad, and it's an aluminum Bluetooth keyboard that clips on really snugly, and it essentially turns your iPad into a MacBook Air. So you can connect it. Close it really nicely, carry it around just like a MacBook Air, and also detach the iPad quite easily. But it's the highest end keyboard that I've seen. So once again, this is You Don't Know What You Don't Know, episode 2. Please check out stjlabs.com if you want to learn more about technology integration at St. Johnsbury Academy.